Welcome to Adam's Fri Flo for entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to talk about Reframe for opportunity. Currently, we don't have any guests, so that's that. I'm going to show you that I have this extra presenter mode thing right here, and I'm going to copy from this spot right here and put it somewhere. But I don't have this, and then we're going to discussion. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss this plan here after, well, if there was more people than myself, we would discuss this plan here, and my discussion would go like so. Every time that we do this, I try to start off with intro of the people talking. Then I have few guiding sparks for discussion, so things that like get the discussion going. And then there's the discussion. If it's just me, like it seems like today, which will be the second time, then I will sort of discuss stuff on my own and maybe work on some things here for everyone else to watch, if you watch it later. And I'll just like work through different business things. I may talk for the rest of the time about the topics, but we'll see. Today I've got a few things, like maybe starting the Meetup group and showing how I do that. But in any case, the next thing is, boom, the intro. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy this thing that I have on my notes here. I'm copying that. And then I'm going to open my discussion, mute, participants, more, chat. And I'm going to post it in the chat. Now, this doesn't mean much to anybody right now because when everyone else comes in, they won't have it on there. So I'll have to repost it again. But I'll have it already over here on my chat so I can copy and paste it later. And I encourage others when they're attending to do the same thing. I also then will afterwards take this and I'll post all the stuff on the chat on the YouTube description. So that'll be a handy place for people to find things that we post in the chat later. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to close out of, I'm also getting timed here. This is also helpful because I tend to talk a long time, and I'm wanting to keep it pretty short, so I'm seeing this time here would be helpful. There's also this audience tools. Just click to present. But I don't know, but what I am concerned about is editing my slides. So I'm going to close this, which is going to take me back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste these in here. But I want 3, oops. So I'm gonna undo that. If I push Shift Control, then I paste it in there in the format it is. Reframe defined. So those are my 3 points. Now I'm gonna put it back in presenter mode because I have my notes here that I want to see while I'm giving this presentation. So presenter view. You might see my pen moving around on there, but that's that. But is there a tool here? Security, pause, annotate. Oh, okay. So here I can annotate like that. So reframing. Reframing is when you take an idea and you put it in a different context, or because we think about things a certain way. So this might be the pessimist, optimist sort of view, you know, like there's these parents had 2 kids, right? And one was an optimist and one was a pessimist. So for Christmas, they decided to give them a gift each, and to kind of, you know, balance out their feelings. So for the optimist, they gave him a pile of dung, just a bunch of poop, okay? And for the pessimist, they gave him a pony, you know, because he'd been asking for a pony. So anyway, so the pessimist opens this gift and sees that he's got this big pony. It's like, oh, look at that. Now I've got to feed it and take care of it and all this extra work. So they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. Well, we'll go to the optimist and see how that one panned out. And they come into that room and their kid is like playing around in the poop and throwing it everywhere and all this stuff. And they're like, what are you doing? And he says, with all this poop, that means there must be a pony somewhere. So you know, they had a certain frame of mind that they're doing things on. And being an optimist and pessimist may be a behavior thing, but you can reframe how you're thinking about things. You can make an effort to do that. So one of the examples is, instead of saying, so I've got it here on my, whoop, now I'm trying to annotate, but I need to take off my annotate so I can move this thing. Mouse, go back to my mouse. Now can I grab my, yeah, okay. So that's weird. I wonder how this is going to turn out on the screen, because I wonder if it's going to be associated with, like, if I'm actually surfing defined right now, or if it's like in a different place. So move my presenter screen over here. So physical distancing versus social distancing is a way of reframing things. Because socially, we want to keep in contact. That's actually one of the reasons I've got this going, is I'm trying to socially connect with people and not get physically or socially far from anyone. But physically, I'm trying to distance myself because I care about how healthy the people I meet will be. And if I'm meeting somebody, and I'm meeting a lot of people, I want to make sure I'm keeping physical distance so that I'm not passing on this coronavirus thing. And before we have some solutions for it, or figured something else out. Anyway, so, and on that topic too, another example is one that I had up here a moment ago that I deleted because it was just too many bullet points, was when we talk about the coronavirus and how we're fighting it, that the whole fight thing is actually kind of, it's kind of a tough example, because then all I feel like I'm doing is like combating something, but there's nothing I can really combat, all right? And in a war scenario metaphor, it just means that there's got to be an enemy. So we're constantly looking for the enemy. But if I'm, learning to eat, there's not really an enemy in learning to eat. Like, if I'm a little kid, I'm looking at the food, I'm thinking, oh, I want to put that in my mouth. How do I get it there? And so I might start using my hands, and eventually I might learn to use like a fork or chopsticks or whatever it is, something to eat that food with. And I learn that process, and it takes some time. So one of the great metaphors I've heard to talk about this is that the coronavirus is basically teaching us. It's an education thing. So instead of talking about it as like we have to fight something, we're looking at an angle, we're reframing it so that we think of it as, what can I learn from this? And how am I learning from this teacher, this coronavirus situation? What am I learning from, just like the plate of food, what am I learning from the environment I'm in, that I'm supposed to eat this food a certain way in order to survive and, socially be well? Because not many people want you to eat with their hands in the US. Anyway, so another one actually was, if you don't like the education thing, thinking of it as a rhino, like a rhino attacking you. So the rhino is just doing what it's supposed to do. It feels threatened, so it's going to attack you. And it's not much you can do about it. You're not going to stop a rhino unless you have a gun. And we don't have that right now. For this metaphor, no gun, okay? It just makes it easier. So there's a big thing, it's attacking you, and so it's really freaking out. I really don't go for the rhino metaphor, but it's better than the war thing, because who's the enemy? Like, no any other persons are enemies here. Unless you start thinking about like partisan things, like, oh, these conservatives or those liberals or whatever, and there's that. It doesn't seem to get anywhere either. That's just like hyping things. Anyway, the third point here is mindset, because mindset is so important in everything we do. Now, a lot of things have to do with the tools we use and what we're doing and processes we use. But if your brain is set up a certain way and you have a mindset set a certain way, you have fears that you're not dealing with, and certain tendencies that you're like aiming towards that are going to constantly make you frustrated and, maybe, just confused. And confusion often leads to frustration, anger, depression, sadness. So the mindset, finding the right mindset, learning from this of what is it that I can do to set myself in the right angle. So that's an example of why I did this online version here of a discussion. So I'm trying to make it so I can also have a discussion with people and see how that works, because I'm learning to do that. And it's kind of cool because I'm getting to learn how to do this. It's taking a lot of work though, because I spent 5 hours just editing this thing the other day and getting it all put together and then sending out the invites for the next crew and all this. And it's a learning experience, all right. So there's two things I've figured out. I'm going to decide with this particular avenue, I either need to increase the attendance or like, you know, how it's building up my community so that I can build in like, you know, actual business for my company of Sparks Flow, finding people that actually want to use my services to increase their particular productivity and how they're approaching their business. Or I need to cut down the amount of time it takes to make it happen, because I like forming my ideas in this way. And I really like the ability to possibly socialize with people that usually wouldn't get out, or people that just like to use the internet. So if I can cut down the amount of time it takes, then that's one of the things I'm going to do. So that's kind of setting in a certain mindset. Oh, and another quote I want to use before I head out of this is I was watching Twit podcast the other day. It's technology in the world or something, but it's a pretty cool one. And so in episode 768, Amy was one of their people on there, and I didn't write down her last name, but she's a futurist. So this is like someone who like her job is to look into the future using statistics and reasonable thinking and creative thoughts and stuff to say where are things appearing to go, and then they help people like think about planning ahead, you know, far in the future or whatever. And actually, I think she even works for the United States Defense. But she kind of said in this, she'd read this Popular Mechanics magazine from 1958, and it pointed out that there's not even enough computer engineers back in 1958. And she says today there still isn't. So for people listening to Twit, they're kind of like computer savvy sort of folk, and maybe computer engineers. And so she's saying that we have the same problem today as we used to have. And so that there's like this sort of optimistic outlook, like there's problems we have right now that we're going to continue to have. So as a business, one of the ways we can think about this is how am I going to make business look into the future and say, okay, what is it we have now that we might be learning from that can create new business? Or how can I shift my business? Because these things, 1958, they had too few computer engineers. Today, what is it that we don't have enough of that we will likely have again in 50 years, a need for still, and that you could be providing, or I could be providing? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. And, you know, I think for me, figuring out a way to sort of respond to this health stuff, and we constantly are having people like hitting problems in their business because there's too much clutter around, or they're just not able to get to what they want to because they keep on like mixing up their priorities and stuff. That's the stuff that I hope to help people with. Right now, in order to increase the attendance, so working on my own goals, I'm going to do a Meetup stuff. Work on Meetup. So that means I'm going to go here to this, and I want to delete these. Mouse select, undo, clear. Clear all drawings, clear my drawings, clear viewers' drawings. Oh, look at that. Clear my drawings. I want to use that sometimes with somebody to actually like try out the drawing tool where someone else is like editing on the screen. We'll see how that goes sometime. So here I have this meetup that I've been trying to do, and I'm trying to make it happen. Friday. I don't want to set an end date. Repeat until canceled. Ask questions. Free event. Preview. What's going on here? Did I log out or something? Make this an online event. Okay, here's my contact information. See all groups. Payments made. I'm going to refresh this screen, see what happens. Reload site. Changes made. Okay, actually, I'm going to save this too. That's also something I want to not have to think over again. It's amazing how these little bits change how much we're Adam's goals. Boom. All right. Going back to this guy, and now I'm going to refresh the screen. I don't know why it's not letting me save or anything. So refreshing. Okay, so we can publish. So that theme discussion group. Go on here, go to my description. Here, oh, that's the wrong one, this one here. And I'll add this in here, the description. Command B. Make this online event. I am going to preview this because then I have an idea. Edit, publish. Okay, attendees, photos, add photos, items goal. Okay. So edit that a bit more. I'm going to grabbing this link, the link. And put that in here. Featured photos, upload a photo, 10 by 65. So I'm gonna upload this photo here. Can I do that? Nope, I can't move it that way. All right, I wonder if this is gonna be big enough. Is this picture big enough? Maybe it's not big enough. At least 12 by, add a caption. On and keep thinking, keep what? Keep, I had a really good line here. I forgot what it was. Since, okay, finish. All right, thinking about it, thinking about loading that photo. Bam, there it is. Okay, so it's actually there. Location, host, event host can help edit. I am actually curious about that. I should have looked that up. I wanted to know a little more about them. Adding the stuff on there. All right, I'm gonna add a host, Eric. Okay, let's see if I can preview this right now. Sorry, there was a problem editing this event. Please review the form for errors and try again. Online events do not support this kind. Online events do not support this kind of link. Oh. Let me try that again because they told me. HTTPS. Okay. Okay. So apparently I just had published. Now let your members know. Okay. Manage. Tools. Close for RSVP. Contact attendees. Attendee details. Sort. Okay, so that's managing. How do I edit though? Because I want to make it repeating. What? This is the wrong time. Oh my goodness. How do I edit this thing? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see, profile, payments, settings, log out. Coffee entrepreneurship impact. Oh boy. Upcoming events. Manage. Oh. Edit event. That's what I want. Oh boy, that was a little annoying. So, Adam's Fri Flo for entrepreneurs, discuss group. Okay, so a couple things is I didn't set the date there, the time, 10 a.m. Duration is 1 hour. Okay. Command C. Prep. I'm gonna put all that right here. Control V. All right. So, oh, I can actually learn more now. But before I forget, I'm going to focus on what I'm here for. Repeat event, ask members a question, attendee limit, repeat event, ask members a question. I also want to go to Activate New Mexico. They have an event going on right after this. I hope to make too, I think. Let me see what they've got going on after I finish this up. Okay, it is a repeat event. Well, every week on Fridays, repeat until canceled. All right, that was what I want. RSP start and end time, allow guests, attendee limit, event free. Okay, save changes. Now I think we're ready to go. And I'll announce that. Got it, announcing to your members now. Cool, so I just sent out an announcement to a bunch of people. I wonder if you got that. And that was that part. Oh, that's actually been 3 weeks I've been putting that off because I'm like, it's just another thing to do. So since I'm just talking to myself here on the online, it was a good time to make that happen. So other people, if you want to make an event, that's how you can do it on Meetup. There's a membership there that Coffee and Creatives had already made, so that's one thing. So there's a couple events that I'm wanting to check into. Here on my slides, I've got some. So other events, Activate New Mexico, right here, even bright. So I'm going to click on that one. And then, of course, 1 million cups next week. And that's great. But this one here is actually happening in about 13 minutes, I think. So I'm going to check that out. There's also another one done by Innovate that I want to look into. So let's look at that right now. And my goal is to go to one other event than 1 million cups in this thing every week. Past events, 10-4, okay. So the good, the bad, and the startup with Ad Wallet and Electric Playhouse. Friday, May 15th. That is today. Okay, so let's do this guy. I don't know what it's going to be exactly. Sales ended. Oh! When did it start? Oh, it started at 10:30 a.m. That's why I missed it. So this is the problem, is that the lineup of my stuff and this guy's stuff is like not quite on. So let's look at the next few events though. Okay, 10:30, 10:30, 10:30. These all these others are at 10:30. So I should have gone to them. Oh, maybe I should change my time to 9:30 so that I can actually make it to these. I think I'm gonna do that. So let's go to this guy. Friday flows or 9. Why don't I just do 9? So I want to edit this thing. So manage. Last time I found out, back out to Coffee Entrepreneur's Impact. And we're going to do events. All right. Manage. Edit event. Edit. So we're gonna put it at 9 o'clock instead. 9 a.m. Let's see how that works. Also means I need to change my photo here because it's no longer at 10. Okay. Explore messages. What else? So what else is going on that I'm curious about? Let's see if I can make that guy. Yeah. So we're gonna put that on my calendar by attending that one on mine. And these are your hosts for the event. Great. So add to calendar. So I'm gonna add that to my calendar. But I'm gonna switch up things here. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for sharing this time with me on your video there. And keep the sparks flowing.